Thai banks in 2025, the new rules that will drive you crazy. In the last few years, banking in Thailand has gone from relatively easy to jumping through hoops at every turn. And 2025 has pushed it to another level. If you've been here for a while, you already know that the rules don't just change, they tighten, often without warning, and foreigners always seem to get the short end of the stick. Now, with the Bank of Thailand's latest Know Your Customer directives, facial recognition is the new normal for large transactions, and by large, I don't mean 1 million baht. I mean anything over 50,000 baht. Now, I went in today, and I went to how many banks? I went to Bangkok Bank, I went to Siam Commercial, I went to TTB, and I went to CASHAPP. And I'll tell you what I found out. It's about compliance, control, and making you adapt to their system instead of adapting to their customers. So today I'm breaking down which banks are the worst offenders, which ones still make life a little bit easier, and how you can work the system to your advantage in 2025. Now, I went into SCB today, and the guy's ready to push the number for me. And I said, I need my face scan. Please, can you help me? He says, no. I said, what do you mean? He goes, do you want to make a scan today? And I said, no. He said, you need to call the customer service department every time that you want to make a transaction over 50,000 baht. And I said, but before I could send 200,000, I could do all kinds of things. No, cannot. You need to call them first. And I said, well, I'm here right now, so how about maybe I can call them from right here. No. I went, okay, very, very good. That's all right. At least I know. And I said to him, at CASHAPP, I went to CASHAPP, they scanned my face once, and now I'm able to send as much as I want. Why don't you get an account at CASHAPP? And I said, why would you say that? I already have an account at CASHAPP. And then I said, maybe I don't need an account at SCB. And I walked away. This guy is a security guard, and he's saying these things to me. So I don't necessarily think it's about service 100%. But anyway, I'm Scott. In case you don't know, I am an American who's been living in Thailand for over 30 years. Just do me a favor, please. If you like this video, please click like. And if you have yet to subscribe, please do so. Remember to hit the notification bell so you'll stay informed of all upcoming videos and live streams. And if you'd like to send me a Dear Scott letter, a message, a comment, whatever it might be, or you need a consultation, email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. Now, the new 50,000 baht trigger. I was kind of surprised because, I go into my app. I've heard about this for the last week or so, whatever it's been, 2 weeks. And I go onto my app, and I'm like, how much can I transfer? And it says, daily limit, 50,000. I'm like, what's going on? The Bank of Thailand says transfers over 50,000 baht require biometric verification. This is for Thais and foreigners. The reality is banks are interpreting this however they want. For Thais, it's often just a one-time scan. However, for foreigners, some banks treat you like you are a security risk every single time. Now, I have to say, I didn't have a good experience with SCB. Generally, they're pretty good. They rank up with Bangkok Bank and CASHAPP in terms of the quality of their service. But I was a little bit upset, and now I think about it. When I went to open an account for the kids with my name on it, they said, you're not allowed to do this. And I said, what do you mean I'm not allowed to do it? Well, we need your work permit. What do you mean I need my work permit? I got a retirement visa. Why do I got to have that? How am I going to have a work permit? And then once I mentioned, I do have some marriage paperwork because I'm married to a Thai, then immediately they let me do it. They didn't say anything else. So they had their account with me for a couple of years, and then when they got old enough, they got their own accounts. And I closed that account. But nowadays, it's a little bit different, and I can tell you, CASHAPP, when I went into CASHAPP, the girl was fabulous. She was smiling, she was friendly, she was very nice, and, that's all that I ask for it. Just be nice. Try to explain things to me. Hey, if I don't get what I want, I don't get what I want. That's fine. But fortunately, I did. One-time scan. I can now transfer 1 million baht on Bangkok Bank. Very good. I'm able to transfer 2 million baht. I didn't even try on CASHAPP to do 2 million, but I may be able to. Now, SCB, as I said, requires a facial scan for every single transaction over 50,000. ATM app or branch. No online self-registration for foreigners. So you keep going back to the branch like it's 1999. TTB, same story, constant verification, no trust once you've done it. And guess what? You can't do anything online. You have to go in, if you want to transfer more than 50,000, you have to go to TTB. At least that's what it says on my app. And I went in there and I thought, this is going to be the same thing. It's every single transaction. That's what you have to do. Now, the middle ground, CASHAPP lets you do a one-time face scan, but then, it hard caps some foreigners at 50,000 a day on the app. Sometimes you can go higher. They told me I can go higher, but it's not supposed to update until tomorrow, so I'm going to have to get back about this. But it can be inconvenient and sometimes requires extra verification. CIMB and GSB, there is some flexibility, but it's not always consistent. Branch-to-branch policies, as always, which can always be a huge pain in the arse. Now, the least annoying that I found so far, Bangkok Bank, which they have their own policies about the money, the retirement money, but usually it's a one-time facial scan, and you're able to go for big transactions afterwards. Like I said, I set mine to 2 million. And what you can do is certain things, like if you want to do a top-up or make you want to purchase something, whatever it might be, you can use your face and scan up to 50,000 baht for the product. Krung Sri, the Bank of Ayutthaya, user reports say once you set higher limits, there is no constant biometric hassle. So they are not trying to kiss the ass of the Bank of Thailand. So if you want to really stick to the best way, as I see it, use Bangkok Bank, Krung Sri, and keep SEB and TTB for the smaller stuff. You might want to use CASHAPP also, but maintain multiple accounts, which fortunately for me, I opened multiple accounts, and I haven't opened an account in a couple of years. And before that, it was even longer than that, and I don't want to have to open many more accounts. But I'm glad I have them just in case. And if one suddenly tightens its rules, you can instantly move your money elsewhere, hopefully, as long as they didn't freeze your account. You can do internal transfers within the same bank to avoid hitting the biometric trigger before sending your money out. Listen, I got 3 accounts at Bangkok Bank, so probably I can transfer a certain amount to one account, a certain amount to another account, a certain amount to another account, and I got 3 accounts where maybe I can transfer 2 million baht out of each of them. Not that I need to do that, but Here is the truth. Thailand's banking environment in 2025 isn't getting friendlier for foreigners. The Bank of Thailand will keep adding new layers of security. Banks will keep over-enforcing them, and you keep hearing the same line. That's just the rule. But rules here are not carved in stone. They're interpreted, and these interpretations vary wildly from bank to bank. And, of course, they're always saying, oh, we've got to watch out for the scammers. Yeah, okay. The key is to not fight the entire system. You won't win. But to position yourself where the friction is the lowest. For me, that means having accounts at the least invasive for the bulk of my transactions, keeping the more restrictive ones for when I absolutely have to use them. Now, SEB, it used to be my primary bank. CASHAPP is now my primary bank. And I'll tell you what, now, you know what I use SEB for? All of my transportation every month. I put 3,000 baht in there, and Anytime I go somewhere and I got to use the QR code, it comes out of that account. That's all I use it for. I don't use it for anything else now. I don't trust them. I don't really trust banks all that much, but then I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to be, you know, too harsh. But anyway, the dismissive, then get a CASHAPP account attitude that I got at SCB, that's not service, that's arrogance. I don't know why the guy told me that, but, you know, and he said it to me in English, and I was like, okay, well, I just spoke Thai to him, and he wants to speak English to me because he wants to get back to me in my own language. So whatever, I mean, however you want to do it, buddy, doesn't matter, we're communicating, that's fine. The best way to respond is to take your business where it's valued and where you are happiest. You go where you're happiest. That's what you do. It's not about, oh, well, they treat you great here, they treat you great there. That's nice. But guess what? You get the wrong person, they had a bad day, and they don't treat you very well. So overall, how you feel about going to a bank or how you feel about going to a country or whatever, that's what counts the most. How they leave you feeling. Okay? You know, and at least where they get out of your way, you want them to get out of your way once you have proven to them who you are or whatever. And quite frankly, sometimes you just go, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it. So I know now SCB has been relegated to the bottom rung of my bank accounts. It's only used for transportation. I never put more than 3,000 baht in the bank. That's it. Okay? I have a groceries account, I have a groceries credit card, and I have an account for transportation. This is Thailand in 2025. It's not the same game that we played 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's not the same. The question is, are you playing it smart, or are you letting the banks run you around in circles? Not only that, you can use the ATMs at times with certain banks. Depends. You can use that to make transfers. Okay? If you're not using the digital banking. You can go in and do a transfer in person. And generally, they will allow you to. But you got to remember to do things the right way, the smart way. That is the right way. Do it the smart way. You want to get your goal accomplished. You want to, if you want to transfer a certain amount of money, all you want to do is transfer that money. Hopefully, it won't cost you much. But you want to transfer that money. And if you get that accomplished, okay, whatever. You want it for the least amount of hassle. Okay. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you'd like to show your support for the channel, please hit the join button down below, and you will be a VIP member of the channel for as little as $1.99. Also, if you want, you can send me a message, a Dear Scott letter, or if you need a consultation, you can ask me for one. But that is all I have. So until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerk and my. That is good luck, and see you again. Take care.